Ahoy VC, welcome to the Personal Oasis. This is the Blind Island, and today we're going to be continuing our countdown of top 100 to 100. As of last night, we finally hit 100 subscribers. I want to thank all of you who subscribed to the channel. Greatly appreciated, and thank you for just making the first couple of months of doing YouTube such a phenomenal success. I've had a great experience meeting a lot of great people on here, and look forward to continuing to meet new people as well. I also announced last night our Personal Oasis contest. If you want to figure out how to get involved in that, I will include a link in the description. There's lots of really great prizes that are going to be given out through that, so be sure to enter into the contest. Now, let's get back to our countdown. At number 65, I have Howlin' Wolf, the Howlin' Wolf's album. Basically, I have already said everything that I need to say in regards to this record. One of my very first reviews on this channel was actually in regards to this, so I'll include a link to that in the description. But all you need to know is that this is acid, funk, psychedelic blues magic. One of the best acid blues albums I've ever listened to, and definitely worth discovering for anyone who's kind of written off blues as a genre in general. Mishima by Philip Glass. This was a film that was produced by Francis Ford Coppola and George Lucas. It literally made no money. I think it made a little over $500,000 worldwide when it came out in 1984. But this record is gorgeous. Some of the most beautiful compositions that I have ever listened to in my life, and the music has been sampled for countless television soundtracks and movie soundtracks, most significantly in The Truman Show, where the theme of this soundtrack comes up constantly within the soundtrack of The Truman Show. I think that it captures so many different emotions, it swells, it just is beautiful, beautiful chamber music that is forward-thinking. I highly recommend you give a listen to this, even if you're not a big fan of soundtracks. At number 63, I have Steve Tippett's You're. This is just amazing jazz rock. Steve Tippett's guitar fingerings on here are virtuosic. He is an incredible guitar player, criminally underrated. He went on to have some successful recordings for the ECM label, but to me it's on this little indie label that he finds his greatest success. This record is one that constantly brings me to a state of bliss and euphoria. It is gorgeous, it is transcendental, and it is basically very much like this cover. It's out there, weird, but altogether beautiful. I highly recommend that anyone who hasn't listened to this record give it a chance. At number 62, I have the Everly Brothers' Songs Our Daddy Taught Us. Now we get to the heart and soul of folk music. This is basically where the folk rock revival began. The Everly Brothers duo is so beautiful. All of their music in general is worth listening to, but their voices meld together like one beautiful honeypot. Simon and Garfunkel obviously took many cues from the Everly Brothers in their discography, but I don't believe they hit the heavenly highs that this album produces. It is heart-rending, heart-wrenching, and altogether engrossing. I think that the old folk songs that are brought to life on here are better than many, many folk albums that have come out ever since. Give this one a listen if you're interested in traditional folk music and fantastic vocal harmonies. And at number 61, I have the Byrds, the Notorious Byrd Brothers. This was a record that came out in 1968 when the Byrds were undergoing a fractious breakup of the group. David Crosby had just been fired, Chris Hillman was on his way out, and basically Roger McGuinn and, I can't remember the other member off the top of my head, but they were basically the only members left, and after that point, they continued to make what I think may be one of their very best albums of all time. The songs on here beautifully flow one after the other into the next. The wizardry of production on here is top-notch, and you can definitely hear them starting to dabble in country rock. For all of the praise that the Grateful Dead receives for their jettison of country rock, I believe the Byrds were on the absolute doorstep before anybody else was. And that is not including the Beatles, who definitely did their covers of Buck Owens, Gotta Act Naturally. That definitely is included, but to me, this is where it all began to synthesize and would bloom in their next album. I love this record. It's a beautiful fusion of country and psychedelic music, and you should definitely pick up a copy. So guys, what did you think about this segment in our countdown? Any albums you recognize? Any albums you wish I would include? Let me know in the comments below, and I hope you have a great day on your own personal Oasis. Cheers.